Muffin's drift. It was a warm morning, sunlight filtering through the curtains of Muffin's house. But in Stripe's garage, the light was dim and the air was impregnated with the pungent smell of engine oil. Muffin, Heller's little puppy, was there, crouching under her father's Audi Q8, with a wrench in her hand and a focused look. She had always had a passion for engines, and that day she was ready to do something incredible. "Dad, I hope you don't need your Audi for this weekend," Muffin said with a mischievous smile. Stripe, who was watching a video on his tablet, raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean, Muffin?" She looked up, for a moment visibly proud of her idea. "I have decided that I will participate in the drifting race on Saturday night, and I also decided to take your Audi for the challenge." Stripe shook his head, but he couldn't hold back a nervous laugh. "You can't turn a Q8 into a drifting machine. It's all-wheel drive, and I wouldn't be able to get it done either." Muffin became serious. "Dad, I know, but I have a plan. You'll see." He got up from under the car, adjusting his mechanic's overalls and motioning to his father not to worry. "I'll start with traction." The first step was to address the heart of the problem, all-wheel drive. Muffin had studied for a long time, reading magazines and watching videos of drifting experts on high-powered cars. The Q8, being a luxury and all-terrain car, was equipped with an all-wheel drive system that allowed safe driving in all conditions, but it would not have been useful for true drifting. To solve this, Muffin did what no one would have ever expected. With the help of a mechanic friend of his father's, he began to replace the all-wheel drive system with a more powerful rear differential, adapted to give more grip to the rear wheels. The task was not easy. He had to disconnect and remove the electronic systems that managed the all-wheel drive, installing a new self-locking differential capable of distributing power exclusively to the rear wheels. Muffin also placed reinforcements on the chassis to ensure the stability of the car during the tightest curves and the most decisive drifts. Then came the most spectacular part. Muffin fitted a new adjustable suspension system, lowering the car to improve the center of gravity and ensure greater maneuverability in corners. He also decided to replace the standard tires with high-performance tires specific for drifting, with a softer compound that would allow for more grip, but also an effective loss of traction at the rear, useful for performing controlled drifts. "Okay, the engine's fine," Muffin thought, as he closed the hood with a dull blow. The 280 horsepower V6 3.0 turbo diesel had been opened and closed with racing components. Now it delivered about 600 horsepower and 1,200 newton-meters of torque, and thanks to a new Super Sprint exhaust system tailor-made for the car now sounded like a Nissan GT-R R35, only with a darker sound. Muffin turned to his father, who was still watching in disbelief. "All set, Dad." The race took place in the abandoned industrial district, a perfect location for an illegal drifting competition. The cars were getting ready in line to challenge each other, but one car in particular attracted everyone's eyes. Bluey's Jeep Wrangler, Muffin's cousin. The Jeep had been prepared for the occasion with modifications that would make even the most experienced pale. The wheels had been equipped with Dunlop tires built for drifting. The engine had been replaced. The old 6.4-liter V8 with just 400 horsepower had been replaced with a more modern LS V8 with volumetric compressor, derived directly from a Trackhawk Jeep, now developed over 700 horsepower and 1,000 newton-meters of torque, and the chassis had been reinforced to ensure maximum torsional resistance when cornering. Bluey approached his Jeep with a defiant smile. She had not needed to modify the 4x4 system of her car, since you could change the power distribution through a simple Manatino stored in the passenger compartment. "Ready to lose, Muffin?" he asked, his tone of superiority. "We'll see," Muffin replied with a smile that hid his tranquility. "You have a good car, but you don't know that Audi has anything that will surprise you." The sound of the engines roared into the night as the two cars lined up on the starting line. Muffin, at the wheel of his Audi Q8, felt his heart beating fast. The machine seemed to have uncontrolled power, but it was up for the challenge. He knew that Bluey, with his Jeep, would be a tough rival. The traffic light turned green, and immediately after the two cars started with a lightning sprint from the starting point, the tires whistled on the asphalt, while Muffin began to control the drift. The rear-wheel drive system worked in perfect harmony with the power of the engine, and the lowered suspension ensured that the Q8 was stable even in moments of loss of grip. The noise of the exhaust system resounded in the night as the car glided elegantly, but with great power, into the first corner. Bluey was in charge, but not for long. The Jeep, while agile, could not keep up with the precision that Muffin was able to maintain thanks to the configuration of the Q8. Muffin, concentrated, pushed the car to its limits, exploiting the power and stability of the new differential. The tighter turns allowed her to perform controlled drifts with impressive ease. But the real challenge came with the last corner, a 90-degree bottleneck that would decide the winner. Bluey tried to hold his position, but his Jeep, despite being agile, could not get back to the right angle for the necessary speed. Muffin, with a determined smile, shifted into final gear, launching the Audi into a perfect drift that led it to cross the finish line first. When the car stopped, Muffin turned off the engine and slowly got out of the car. Bluey's Jeep stopped a few steps away. Once Bluey got out, incredulous but proud of her little cousin, she said, "I can't believe it. You really beat me in a drift race with an Audi," he said, laughing. "I know," Muffin replied with a satisfied smile. "You underestimated me, cousin." The evening ended with an explosion of laughter and congratulations, while Muffin, to the praise of his friends, looked over his shoulder. She had won, but above all she had proved to herself that nothing was impossible, not even for a small puppy who had decided to defy the laws of physics.